training. So I feel pretty confident to be here and tell you that I could give you the information to become top producer. Not only I, we have business partners that were with me here from day one. And day one was February 19, 2012. That's when I looked at the opportunity online. I actually ran away from it for 8 months. My lieutenant at work introduced me to it multiple times, told me so many things about it, but I never was interested in it. I was working my master's. I had already 2 A's in my classes. My goal was to complete it and then elevate myself in the police department. And I'm still doing that, but when I look at this, I paused my master's because I understood the severity of this. I understood that it made too much sense and I need to get in with it. And so when I first started, I signed up myself right online. That's how simple the business is, right? I just needed the RIN number to get signed in. He gave it to me. He was in church. I said, send me that stuff. I'm signing in right now. And all I looked at was on the products, right? I only saw the products. No one gave me a formal presentation. So I looked at the products. It made sense. So I signed up. So what did I do? I knew there was a bonus. I met up with my upline. He told me there's a bonus for you to hit. So in the first 30 days, there's that bonus. So I had about $750 for 2 and 10 bonus, right? 2 business partners, 10 points for $750. So my focus was only on that. So when my upline called me, he was like, well, Gino, we need to have your PBR, and it was within, what, 7 to 10 days when I have your first grand opening, right? And I was like, hold up. We're not going to have any grand openings until I see if this really works. So what did I do? For the first 3 days, I actually didn't do a thing. I was like questioning whether I joined, what was my thing. I was doubting myself. I was like doubting if the business worked. I was creating all type of excuses why I shouldn't start promoting. I can't sell. I never sold anything. And I said, Gino, you like helping people. So go out there, and they say grab 10 points. And go out there and do that. Help people. If you can help people, help them. If you cannot help them, don't do anything. So I went out there and I switched my own services. I switched my own services. I had 5 points already, so I got about close to 9 points just from my own home. Then I went to Eloise's house, and she had about 3 to 4 more points right in her house, and I went to about 13. And I said, oh, this thing is simple. By the time you do 1, 2, 3, it becomes simple. So I went to a couple of other friends and family, and I was well over about 30-something points before I even had my first grand opening, which is on the 11th day in business. I had about 24 points, right? And that was good because I knew that the filings already told me I'm going to send you some money into your card. I already had $50 coming in plus the bonuses that I hit. So I drove over 24 points, over 20 points, right? Because I knew that there was a $500. So essentially what you first want to do in business, when you first come in, you're going to take business ownership, right? You're going to have doubts. You're going to have everything. You have to take business ownership. There's one thing, take business ownership, and then you have to do what? Lead by example. So I grabbed my points. My 11th day, I had a BOM, a grand opening. I invited about close to 15 people. I had about 4 people in the room. Out of 4 people, 1 signed up that first day. And I still remember that guy, Victor Ortiz. Why? Because that guy gave me a lot of confidence. Right? It made sense. He joined. Right? So we joined, and then we started building from there. So I started introducing. I didn't know what the hell to say to people. I was saying too much. I was saying wrong things. I was saying probably Mercedes, right? Beamer, Benz, and Bentley. I was saying everything. And there was no Mercedes in the business. But just know, I was saying. At the end of the day, I was talking to people. I was excited. And people went through, like Nick, Eloise, all of them went through my excitement and not based on what I was saying. Because they knew me. Why would Gino get crazy like this? He's crazy on the regular, but normally like this. To this extent, he's not, right? So I just kept sharing the information. I was telling people, come over and see the opportunity. And then on top of that, I had Mark Borley. Luckily, I ended up sitting with the first senior vice president of Massachusetts. I knew of him, so because I sat with him, he sat with me for a while in the car before I signed up. For 3 months, I just watched his lifestyle. Like, this dude is not getting police detail calls, and that's weird. So it's like, all officers get police detail calls. So that made me look at this thing has to be real. He never tried to convince me or persuade me in any way. He already knew that someone else had talked to me. So he had integrity on that. He said, I'm not going to talk to Gino, try to convince him. I convinced myself into the opportunity. So just know that. Even here I sit as a top producer nationally, no one has to convince you. So if you think that you have to convince anyone, don't do it, right? So from that, this is just a story. This is not the top, this is just my background. So when I signed up, I had Mark Borley right there, right? I said, Mark, this is so-and-so, talk to them. They'll give a 2-minute overview, right? We're in the car. So he'll give me a 2-minute overview. So that was a blessing for me because I had someone over there for me. So if you're in this room, you know leaders, link up with them and have them do your 3 ways and so forth, right? So from that moment, I what I started doing is like, okay, I acquire my points, I acquire a couple business partners, so I kind of knew the process. So what did I do? I went in and I told my business partners that came in, I helped them get the points. I knew how to get points, so I helped them get points. So in that process, in my second month, all of a sudden they called me and said, yo, Gino, you're the top producer ET. Like, what the hell is top producer ET? I didn't know what top producer was. So I hit top producer and that was number one. I was like, what am I doing? And people were like, what are you doing over there? I was like, I don't know, I'm just helping people. That was it. I was just helping my downlines get their points so they could hit their bonus. To me, if they didn't hit the bonus, I didn't hit the bonus. That's how I felt. So I was like this, I'm gonna go there, I'll spend some time, help them switch their services, then I'll go to a couple of friends, I'll walk with them, I'll drive with them, and they hit their bonuses and they will be happy, right? And so from that sacrifice came success. So then I hit ET, I kept doing the same thing. Then I went to ED and I hit top producer, customer producer as an ED. But the one thing I wasn't doing well, even though I hit top producer IMR, but I wasn't doing well, I was 100% qualification. I was qualifying people on points. Because I would get someone in 2 days, they'll have like 20-something points because I run with them, right? So I didn't see the value in 100% qualification. And no one could tell me anything. Imagine the upline is coming in and telling me, and I'm stubborn already. Are you telling me that what, you're doing something wrong? I say, I'm the top producer. So sometimes we become ignorant or we don't know much, right? And we get carried away. But you got to see where I was coming from. I was a top producer. What could you tell me? I'm on the chart, right? On both sides, whatever I'm doing works. But I couldn't see ahead, right? I wasn't like the greatest follower in the beginning. I wasn't as coachable. I came in, I was coachable, I listened to certain things, but success hits you and sometimes you get carried away. And it wasn't mainly success, it was just I had a working system. People are getting qualified. What are you telling me about grabbing a business line? They don't need that. And I was, for months. My SVPs, they love me and they hate me at the same time, right? My upline. So with that, my leaders stopped making comments. Nick, Eloise, and Mark Joseph said, Gino, by the way, it looks like if you do this, because I was willing to run with people, but a lot of people were not willing to run other people. So when we got to a team of 30, it wasn't working anymore. Because I was running with people, now people getting qualified, shut up, right? I'm like, qualified, shut up, right? But then it was just like, not everyone is willing to sacrifice that time. I was. And then I started, I look at the numbers. Nick and all my leaders told me, I went back the very next day, I listened to my leaders. I was like, yeah, we have to switch things up, right? Some people didn't like it, but we had to do the right thing. Why did I do the 350 instead of 400? I was trying to save people money. My partners coming in. I said, no, you don't need to pay the 400, pay the 350. So generally, I was trying to help them, but I just didn't understand the system. So why do I stress that? Don't bring in anyone unqualified. It cost me 3 legs of over 50-something business partners. All right? So if you're bringing in people unqualified, thinking that you're doing them a favor, no, you're doing them a disservice. Because once they start bringing in the beginning, if you understand the business, the system, you get paid a lot of money on team building. And if you're building your team the wrong way, you're going to have a hard time, because if the money's on team building while the residual is growing, right? And you are cutting them off the income that you get, the CAB bonuses, right off the bat, what money are they making? The residual doesn't pay a whole lot unless you're dealing with the top 5 products that we have, and it's not as easy to acquire those products, right? So what do you do? 100% qualification. You guys already know it's pretty much acquired everything that you have in the book. Your website, your business line, your energy certification, and lastly, what am I missing?
Platinum.
Your platinum services, right? So then I switched to services. Some people didn't like it. Some people said, oh, whatever you're doing. I lost people because of they lack motivation. They said, no, we're not going to do this. It's fine. I lost over a lot of people. But guess what? I kept building. I went wide. Initially, when I came in, I went 8 wide. I was ready for diamond, right? So it's still messed up. Trust me, I was ready for diamond, just so you know. So with that, I hit top producer ED, and I was nominated for the whole quarter as a top producer customer. So I was like, all right, I'm top producer customer. I'm getting like 6 and 5 on IMRs, and that was had to do with the qualification. Qualification, in order for you to, on the top producer IMR, like people have to be qualified. So I had tons of people coming in, but they were not qualified. So I would have been #1, period, for the whole quarter. And when I look back, I'm like, shit. But I didn't know. So you can't call me, it's not something I did on purpose. I just did what I didn't know. And once I found out, I switched my style. So when I switched my style, it took months. I'm going to tell you, it took months as a top producer ED to get that back going. Everyone understanding. I said, it's fine. I'll do the right thing. At that moment, I was doing the right thing. So when I kept doing the right thing, all of a sudden, in January of 2013, my first month, everything was picking up, the momentum was coming up the right way, everyone understood about the 100% qualification, and all of a sudden, boom, $8,000 in my first month.
Wow.
Right? Not only did I hit $8,000 my first month, January, walking into 2013 this year, right? I was also nominated as the #1 ND IMR, right? And the #1 and #2, tied up #2 with customer. Pretty much the top producer in the whole company. So I hit top producer ET, retired as #1. That was good. Then I went to ED, retired as #1. Then I went to ND, and now I hit #1. And we got the All-Star Awards and all that. I say that to say this, not to impress you, but to impress upon you that what I'm about to share with you is actually some good stuff, from bad experience and from good experience. And one thing I understand about this business is really how to make money now, and the most simplest way. So we're going to talk about what will it take you as a new business partner coming in to be a top producer, and what will it take you as a current business partner, what should you be focusing on to become a top producer nationally? When I say top producer, think what? What do you think if I say top producer?
The most customers.
Money.
Money.
So anytime I say top producer, all that means that whenever you're at the top, the company pays you thousands of dollars for it. So just understand, top producer is not just a successful position, it's a money-paid position. Let me give you an example. Chad Thompson was 25 years old. He's a top producer. He makes over $30,000 monthly. When I talked to him, I said, dude, what are you doing? Right? I understand exactly what he's doing. We talk. He's a top producer. So imagine at 25 making over 30K, and he's just getting started in this business. A little over 3 years in this business. Right? So let's talk about it. So the first thing that you will do as a top producer when you come in is establish your why. We talked about our why today, right? Your why is very important. The why is what's going to drive you. If you don't have your why established, if it doesn't make you cry, like some of you guys did, right? Right? So you're not going to be able to push this business. So establish your reason why you're doing it. And then number 2, what? Take business ownership. This is your business, not Five Links' business. It's your own franchise. It's like a baby. You have to look at it. This is my baby. If I don't feed it, it will not grow successfully. Right? So don't point fingers at anyone that this business is not working. This business not. If your business is not working, it's because you're not working. So that's business ownership from the moment you come in. And commit yourself for the next 5 years. This is not something to work for a month or 2. Let me try this out. If you're in the business trying this out, leave. It's not going to work for you. This is not a tryout stage, a sample stage. No, you're either going to do it or you don't do it. And Steve Carter says, well, there are those that think they can do it and those that think they cannot do it. They're both right. Those that think they can try it, get out too. That doesn't work for them, right? So commit 5 years into this. This is for all network marketing businesses, right? And what should you do? How many hours should I put into this business? Put in 5 hours for yourself. 5 hours for yourself. That means you're going to acquire customers, you're going to invite people, and you're going to do a grand opening for yourself. And then the other 5 hours, I tell you 10 hours. When you first start 10 hours. New partners, start 5 hours. I apologize, right? Because you don't have anyone underneath you, right? As you start building a team, then now you need to sacrifice some of your time for your team. So 5 hours for yourself, 5 hours for your team. That's a total of 10 hours a week. Who could do 10 hours a week right now, right? That's simple, right? We do 40 hours for someone else, building someone else's dream. This is 10 hours for yourself, building your own dream. You should actually be putting 80 hours for yourself. We'll be the same with 5 links. You could just do 10 hours and be very successful. That's what I'm doing. Will you do more sometimes? Yes. But you're going to want to do it. No one's going to have to tell you, right? So, again, once you commit, once you take business ownership, number 3 is lead by example. Like, don't try to make anyone come to any meeting, show up at an event, or do anything if you're not doing it. Right? If you're not doing